nicest people, our deals are number one. You'll love Dave's, Minnesota and Red City. We make shopping for your pet fun, 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 fun.
We're filming. Hey everybody, welcome to Dave's Pet Show. This is I think our 24th or 25th season.
Incredible.
Right, it is incredible. We haven't been arrested yet, but it's early. So I have two special guests with us. One of the guests is Freya. How old is this German
She'll
Shepherd?
be 2 at the end of September.
She is gorgeous.
Thank you.
And this is Claudia, but you're not her mommy, right?
I'm not her mommy. We look a lot alike, but I'm not her mommy.
Right, but now... So this is Claudia, who is, are you partner in one of my favorite foods in the whole wide world, and one of the ones that I feed my shepherds, which is State of the Nature Raw. And I wanted to bring Claudia on to talk about the food, why you should use it, and then I'll give a couple of my, idiocy things that I will interject. And of course, we had to have Freya because she's the star of the show.
That's right.
So tell me the history and why you love this food.
So the history is that my partner and the founder of State of Nature Raw, Sherry Ralph, is a breeder of working German Shepherds, like Freya here. And those German Shepherds are bred for police, military, search and rescue, fire departments all across the country. And they are started on raw food at the age of 3 weeks. So Freya here has never had anything but State of Nature Raw in her diet. And all of the dogs that we have that vary from 6 to 19, depending on how many puppies there are all fed State of Nature Raw twice a day, every day. What happened was...
That's a big bill.
It's a big bill.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, whatever we're making, they get. So
it's like the GDP of Rhode Island or something.
Right. It's a lot. That's right. What happened was, as she was breeding and feeding raw food, a lot of the people, including the fire departments and the police departments, asked her what she fed her dogs, and she started giving away a case of this particular food to everybody that bought a puppy. It became clear that the puppies and the dogs were doing really well on it, and her husband, Tim Ralph, and Sherry decided to make it available to a wider audience. And my husband and I came in, became partners, and we do all of the merchandising and design work. And
you have a delivery
and
right.
Whatever else we have to do, we do.
Right.
One of the reasons why I fell in love with this product is because, there's many reasons, but the main, I think, is because it's locally sourced from local farmers.
So that's what I want to talk about. That's
right.
a huge
in the
deal.
Hudson Valley. It's a huge deal. Okay.
So that means it can't get
She's
really
barking
big.
at my husband. I'm going to let her go, okay?
Yeah. She can't get real big. The company can't get real big.
Well, here's the idea. The idea is right now we're only interested in the Northeast.
Yep.
And if, in fact, we were to scale up, the idea would be to open regional kitchens throughout the country.
And you'd work with
they would locally source there. Maybe a franchise, something like that. But right now we're just concerned with the Northeast.
So this is basically farm to table.
This is farm to bowl. This is farm to bowl, literally farm to bowl. All of our farms that we use raise for human consumption food.
Yep.
And many of them are humanely certified.
Yep.
Some are quite small, like the rabbit guy, Dustin, who we just found, and it's all organic, and he's this very small rabbit farm, and we love him. And
now it's interesting. I'll just bring up rabbit. You can't always get rabbit, right?
We can always get rabbit.
You can always get rabbit.
Always get rabbit. We always can get rabbit. Dustin is our source. He's amazing. We also get our chicken parts from him, so we also sell chicken necks and feet.
Yeah,
all of that is done humanely and on a small farm basis.
Yep.
One of the reasons that we love small farms is it's how we vet our sources. We don't pasteurize our food in any way.
So let's discuss that.
Okay.
Because I have about 8 different raws.
Right.
And most of them are pasteurized. Was it HPP?
Right. HPP is high pressure pasteurization.
Right. And why do you not do HPP?
Our philosophy is that the people that let me just go back up. The people that manufacture the HPP processing machine, which basically puts about 800,000 pounds of pressure on the food, What they say to you is that they guarantee that only the bad bacteria is affected. I'm not really sure how you guarantee that in 8,000 pounds, 800,000 pounds of pressure. I don't think
it takes 900,000 to do the good ones.
Well, maybe I have no idea. But more than that,
research.
You did you? Yes. Oh, okay, then you know. But more than that, we believe that it affects the protein. Protein breaks down under pressure, and what happens is that it unfurls and becomes water soluble. So in order to offset the damage that the HPP does, you'll find that some other frozen foods will add vitamins and minerals and synthetics, and we add absolutely nothing. Right. Ours is just the protein and the non-protein ingredients, which are herbs and vegetables and some. So
how do you
lettuce,
get the AFCO, protein levels and this level and that level in here?
Well, we follow
because these are complete and balanced diets.
They are complete and balanced diets.
Right.
Sherry worked with a vet to make sure, a holistic vet, to make sure that she had the right balances. Yep. Each one of our non-protein ingredients is listed on our website, gives you the vitamins that you need. So we have things like garlic, which has been in some contention, but the kind of garlic we have is trace amounts.
Oh yeah, it is. Right.
But the amount of garlic you have to feed a dog for it to get sick would make me sick. So it's ridiculous.
Right.
So
plus it keeps vampires away.
Keeps vampires away.
It's good for your dog.
Keeps fleas away.
Right.
So we have a good balance of the nutrition that we need and the right amount of organs for what they get from their organ meat, and also bones.
Right.
The whole, I don't know if you know, I'm sure you know this, but the whole raw food movement was developed by a doctor named Ian Billinghurst out of Australia.
Yep.
And he started with an unfortunate acronym of BARF, which is bones and raw food, and that's what this is. It's bones and raw food with non-protein ingredients. AFCO is a funny thing. They don't really have guidelines for raw food.
I know.
So, because raw food is still relatively newish, and it's kind of difficult to figure out. So we do what we can to follow them, and then the advice of our vet, and of course our own experience with our own dogs.
So I'm now going to interject from a purely practical matter, and someone who sells pet foods and sees customers come in with every kind of problem in the history of the world.
Right.
So I will tell you that one of the problems is obesity.
Right.
Which causes diabetes, not causes, but is the leading cause, for diabetes.
Right.
And part of the reason is the amount of carbs, et cetera, and starches and everything else that's in, I don't care whose dry food you're using. So the easiest way, it's just like South Beach or whatever, to keep your dog at the proper weight is to feed a raw diet, because I'm not going to say there's virtually no carbs, but there's virtually no carbs.
There's virtually no carbs. There are no carbs. There's no grain of any sort.
And they also make a cat food. And my favorite cat, I don't know if you've ever been on the site, catinfo.org,
no.
Dr. Lisa Pearson.
No.
Well, I talk to her all the time. She will scare you out of ever feeding your cat dry food.
Oh, I'm sure.
She wants your cat to be on a 100%,
raw.
Right.
Well, there's reasons for all of that.
Right. But so here's the deal with this. So I have my two shepherds on this, and there's a couple of reasons I do it. Number one, because I want to keep their weight right and fend off diabetes and everything.
Right. It keeps their muscles lean.
Right. But here's the other part. If you have an older dog, or you have a sick dog, or and you have a dog that's not eating.
That's right.
I'm telling you, dead dogs will get up to eat this stuff. Right. This is based, right? I mean, right?
Well, okay.
And you know what else we do?
What?
So we now don't use pill pockets.
No.
So one of my shepherds is unfortunately on pheno. She has seizures.
Oh.
So we used to have to get the pill pockets. We just put the pills
in the
in the food.
In the food. And they just consume it right away.
And they consume it. But I promise you, folks, we have tons of customers that come in. Their dogs don't have teeth, so they're going from one canned food to another canned food. Bingo.
All right, so talk about dogs that don't have teeth and elderly dogs. We do double grind these foods.
Yeah.
So they go into a big grinder that mixes them with the vegetables and everything else, the non-protein and the bones. And then we put them into a very fine grind, something called a VMAG. which means that it is the bones and every other ingredient in there is so fine you can barely see them, which means any dog, teeth or no teeth, can eat this food. That's correct.
Right. So here's the other, I have other raw foods that they're sort of a pain in the neck to feed every day. What I like about this is we take it out at night.
Right.
We cut it right below this line.
That's right.
You pick the bag up, you hold it, and the whole thing just
falls out. That's right.
And there's no mess.
That's right. There's no mess. And the other thing I can say...
We have someone from the peanut gallery who wants to add something.
Well, I'm going to get to vacuum sealing in a second. I will say this also, is that...
This is cold.
It's cold. You can put it back.
Well, no, I have to hold it.
I can hold it if you want. And of course, it's got all kinds of... because it's outside. But what you see
Can you get my picture on here?
I'm sorry? Can I get your picture on there? I can.
Yeah,
I think it would sell.
Yeah,
I think it'd be good. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So what I would like to also say is that what you see in the freezer, more than what you see out here, is exactly how it thaws. There's no extra blood or water, maybe a teeny bit of blood, which
Just
would come from a
blood.
little tiny bit, but there's nothing extra to it. We don't add water, we don't add blood, and many people have told me that they can't believe it, that when it's thawed, it looks exactly as though it was frozen. And of course, we keep it frozen for longevity, and it doesn't affect the value of the ingredients in.
So the other thing that I like is there are so many different flavors.
There are.
Right, because we have a lot of dogs now. My dog's allergic to chicken, so there's turkey, there's beef, there's the tri-blend. Right. And one of them, I don't want to take it out, but is the tripe. So let's talk about tripe.
All right, so tripe is actually, for those of you that don't know what it is the inner lining of the cow's stomach. For human consumption, they bleach it, which means that whatever's in the stomach is gone and the bad bacteria for human beings is gone. For dogs, we use green tripe, which means we keep the ingredients that are in the stomach lining and we grind it up. And this is the thing that is the best probiotic in the world for dogs. There just isn't a better one. End of story. It is only sold as a supplement. It is not meant to be a meal. It does have its own distinctive smell, but ours is very good. Yep. And I will say that if you haven't tried it with your dog and you open it up when you defrost it and you hand it to your dog, there's a good chance they'll take your hand off. My dogs climb onto the counters. Right. It is something all dogs love. There are guidelines. There are FDA guidelines for the butchering of a cow and how long the tripe can stay, and this is for human consumption, and how long the tripe can actually stay in the facility. We have a guy that's just a few miles from us that does 1 cow a day, and he will call us and say, okay, I'm doing such and such, the tripe will be ready at this time, and we are literally there. And we take it out, we bring it home, we grind it up.
I think we're going to take a break, right? Because we have advertisers that pay us a huge amount of money, of which I get all of it. It's in small unmarked bills.
Maybe they can put your...
I don't want to ruin that. Right. And we're going to take the break, and then we'll be back, and we'll finish up.
All right.
Who has been on all my shows with me, I think.
Well, pretty much.
All,
most of them.
How many years you been working here?
18.
Oh, my God.
So that's...
We can't get rid of him. So he's been here for 18 years, and Matt has always been a Cairn Terrier guy.
Yes.
But now Matt downsized.
Went a little downsizing.
Right. What have we here, Matt?
We have a Yorkshire Terrier puppy. Yeah. And this is Karamia. That's her name.
Karamia?
Karamia.
I wonder why you named it. Get it? Get it? You remember that? You're too young for that song.
I'm too young.
But does anyone remember that song? No. Karamia, why? Sorry.
Okay. But this actually, her name on the paper is Bella Karamia Mine. Yep. So it's my dear little one in Italian.
Okay, can I
sure,
hold her
absolutely.
For a minute?
Yep.
So tell me why you downsized.
Well,
why you picked this breed?
This breed is actually going to be for my parents. This dog right here. They had for many years, a miniature Schnauzer, which was actually one of the last dogs that we got from here when years and years ago when Dave's had puppies. But he passed on at 16 years. And so he went for 16 years and passed on a couple months ago, and my parents were heartbroken, of course. And so, what better way to do it is they immediately, for them, they were heartbroken, but they immediately were looking for dogs within a week. They traveled to Florida. And so they like to bring the dog with them, and rather than putting perfect dog, because you can put him in carry-on, take her right on board. Plus, she doesn't pull. She's small enough. She doesn't pull. Upsized, but she still has that terrier tenacity and that terrier energy, which our family loves.
Related.
Yep, they are. They are a little bit. They are both.
So how big will this is a small dog?
This is a small dog. This little terrier right here is going to max out about 7 pounds. She's a female, so she's at the absolute maximum. So she's little. She's little.
Are you guys doing training or any of that stuff?
We're just started house. I'm using a crate for house. For house training. I'm doing a lot of it myself, positive reinforcement training, reward training. We'll see how that goes.
Going to be able to do that, or do you have to do it?
I'm doing some of it for them, but we're also teaching them how to do it, because they're still help them with that. But mom wants to cuddle and play, but this is just to get them where we are co-owners, so the dog's going to go back and forth between us. We just want to get where they're bonded to everyone, so we can get everyone, she'll respond to commands on everybody for us. But beautiful thing about these little Yorkies, the other positive is they don't shed. They don't shed, so if you have allergies or...
I don't mean to ignore you, Fiona.
This is Fiona, and she just loves attention. So the only thing was we trade off is she's going to go to the groomer probably every 6 weeks for sprucing up, brushing, cleaning, trimming, the whole nine. Same thing with her down here.
So this is, if you're allergic, Yorkies are...
Hair dog. They're hypoallergenic, so you're not going to have a lot of the heavy danders like on all the bigger dogs. Exactly.
Like my dog.
Right, exactly. Like I said, with this dog, a lot of times I'm finding, and a lot of times I've seen with other people dog, I'm keeping her on the ground a lot, where she's independent. A lot of these little dogs people carry around, and they become more bonded to one person and more defensive. This one, I've kept her on the floor. Socializing. She's being well. And that's the key. What I'm also doing right now is I'm doing socialization with her.
She's an unusual color, no?
No, that's pretty much a normal color. She's black gold. What's going to happen, her ears have not come up yet. While these little dogs are teething, the muscle development is a little bit down, so the ears haven't popped up yet. As they get older, she's going to have pricked ears just like Fiona down here. Right now, she's got that cute total puppy.
She's so cute.
She's a lover. She does love her. She's very, very, very sweet.
She sleeps in a crate at night?
She sleeps in a crate, yes. And then anytime I have downtime, I have a pen for her to play in, but a lot of times if I just want to put her away to get her going, I'll put her in the crate, but I don't put any food or water in there. Leave her in there for a few hours, then I take her out and I put her down where I want her to go to the bathroom.
So here's the last question, because we have a really important guest. Not that you're not important, but we're sort of sick of you after 18 years.
Sick of me, I'm just sort of here.
How's the interaction been? Because most of our customers, a lot of them get a puppy.
Okay, that is a great question. She is pretty mellow, but she's alpha, so she is...
Well, she's a terrier.
She's a terrier and son. They're both females, so they're both a little bit alpha. She is asserted it right off the bat. She did her little grumble, like, what is this type thing. But she's smart enough that she's respected her authority right off the bat. Rolled right over, and she said, I'm not going to hurt you. They still have their boundaries, but they are, honestly, with supervision right now, they're totally 100% supervised, but they seem to be getting along now just fine. They work out their differences for the most part, but when they're this little and this young on these types of dogs, you want to definitely keep them supervised. Okay, but wonderful little break. We're very excited.
Come back and see us again sometime.
Absolutely.
Like maybe next week. Right. All right, don't go away, folks. We'll be back in just a moment. Wave goodbye, Fiona. Wave goodbye. Say we'll see you. See you again.
So, to be honest with you, the only difference between the dog food and the cat food is that there are no non-protein ingredients in the cat food, and maybe just a little bit more of the organ meat. Cats are the single mammal that needs the most protein on the face of the earth. And this is 100% protein. The reason why we bump up the organs, just a little bit, is because that's where they get their taurine,
Right.
which is the one thing the cats have to have in order to protect their eyesight.
And they can't manufacture that. They have to have
They
it.
can't manufacture it. They have to have it, and that's how they get it in the wild. They eat the organs of their prey.
Yep.
They won't eat the lining of the stomach. They won't eat grass. They won't eat anything else. They want protein. So that's what this is. This is 100% protein with no non-protein ingredients and a little bit more of organ meat.
So, folks, if your cat, and this happens, I can't tell how many times, you take your cat to the vet, and the cat says, I think the cat is starting to get diabetes,
Right.
which is epidemic.
That's right.
Bingo.
Bingo.
Right. Now, it is sometimes hard to switch cats who've been on dry food all their
Right.
lives.
So we recommend, there's a way of doing it. There's a lot of different schools of thought. But what we recommend is that you do it slowly and that you mix a little bit of dry food with a little bit of raw food with your dry food, and over the course of the week, wean them off of the
Yep.
dry food. Now, I know a lot of cat feeders that haven't had to do that because the cats love it so
Yeah.
much. These raw food is designed specifically for the dog and cat digestive system, which has not changed much since we domesticated them. In fact, it hasn't changed at all if I think about it. It's exactly the same as
Yeah.
a wolf or a wild cat, same digestive system. It is meant for breaking down raw food.
Yep.
And this also has a little bit of bone in it.
Right. So how much do you feed a
Dog or cat?
Dog
so
or cat?
in a dog's case, we recommend 2% of their optimum weight. So she weighs, this is a little bit different. My dog weighs 75 pounds. She is extremely
Really
active.
active.
We have 7 acres. She's
Yep.
out all day. She runs with the
Yep.
horses. She's very, very active.
Yep.
So she gets 2 pounds of food a day. Which
Two
is
patties.
2 pounds. Two of these bags a day.
2 of these bags, right?
Yeah,
Each one of these bags is a pound. by
Pound.
the way.
That's right. So she gets 2 pounds a day, one in
Yep.
the morning and one in the evening, and occasionally she'll get snacks. This is not a food-oriented dog. She
Yep.
would rather have her ball than anything else.
Yep.
So other dogs that are more sedentary, you would want to feed them less,
Right.
and you have to use common sense. However, the rule of thumb for dogs
2%.
is 2% of...
So if you have a 40-pound dog, which
Right.
is about average,
Right.
it's one of these a day.
Correct, which means you do it in half.
You do it in half.
Right.
Now, some people still like to mix kibble,
Okay, so...
and there's a school of thought.
There's a school of thought, and it's probably true that kibble digests at a different rate than raw food. And if you mix kibble and raw food, you can actually wind up giving your dog diarrhea. I've never experienced
Neither
that.
have I.
Ever.
Neither have I.
I will say that the purest form and the best way to feed a dog is with raw food. Shh. Sorry, there's a dog in the background. I'm sorry. Right. Hey, so I recommend, there you go. So I recommend that if you do feed kibble, you use it as a topper.
Yep.
There's another study that has been done
Yep.
recently in Scandinavia that you have to feed a dog or a cat, at least 20% of their meal has to be raw before they get any of the benefits of the raw food.
So explain that.
So that means that if you have a bowl,
Yeah.
right, there has to be at least 20% of what's in that bowl
Has to be raw.
has to be raw food before you get the
get any
benefits
benefits.
of the. So you can't do. So we don't.
Right.
To keep it simple, best thing to do
Right.
is to just feed them raw. And if you want to use kibble,
Right.
use it as a treat, which we do, a training
Yep.
treat,
Yep.
or a little bit on top. There are people that will kill me for saying that.
Yep,
Some
I
people
know.
will just tell you
I know.
raw straight off the top.
Right.
For cats, the weight is somewhere between 3 and 7%. Again, depending on the cat, how much exercise it gets, and
That's it for a cat?
Yeah.
3 and 7?
Cats
So if
don't
you
get a
have
whole lot.
7-pound cat,
Yeah, it's like this much, tiny.
so that would be 2 cans of fancy, right?
Maybe a bit less than that, actually, possibly
Holy
less.
smokes.
This is more caloric in some ways, even
Right.
though it digests better and
Right.
the benefits are huge. It is a little more caloric than a lot of the other canned foods.
Yep.
We recommend that you feed the animal a small amount to keep their
So
best weight.
folks, just so you understand cost. So, not the rabbit, but the average price for these is if you buy one, is $5.49. So the average price of a premium can of dog food, not a garbage can of dog food,
Right.
is close to $3 now.
Right.
So a 40-pound dog, you would probably feed 2 cans,
Right.
right?
Right.
So you're at $6.
Right.
So a 40-pound dog would eat one of these.
Those.
So this
Right.
is actually cheaper,
Right.
especially if you buy multiples.
Right. Plus
Plus
the
you get
benefit
the
is
benefits.
that you probably won't be going to the vet as often.
Right.
And it
right.
may-
You'll have not you. The dog will have, or cat, will have much smaller stools.
That's right.
Which is a huge deal. And I can't guarantee this, but everything says that it'll really fend off diabetes. And so I saw
Overweight.
that, what was his name, the Australian guy who invented
Dr. Billinghurst?
I saw Dr. Billinghurst 15 years ago.
Oh, really?
And I went to one of his seminars, and the seminar was, can raw food cure cancer?
Right.
And he said, absolutely not.
No.
He said, if your dog or cat is predisposed to getting cancer,
Right.
it's going to get cancer.
And there is another thing that it won't.
Right.
It won't. You have to be very aware of. If your dog suffers from pancreatitis,
Yeah.
you have to think very carefully about what you're going to feed them. In our case, we recommend rabbit because it's the least fatty that we have. But you want to work closely with your vet to make sure that the pancreatitis can manage the rabbit.
Right. So, diabetes, there is no other food better.
That's right.
Period. End of story. Right? And even if you don't want to feed all raw, even if you do kibble in the morning and you do raw at night,
Right.
something, I promise you, it'll be so much better for your dog or your cat's life. And what blows me away, I always thought the cat thing was the same, 20% of the cat's
No.
body weight, but it's even less.
It's less.
So
2%
feeding
actually.
feeding
2%
raw is way cheaper than feeding.
Ultimately, it'll be way cheaper. Correct. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. That's correct.
Holy smokes.
See?
Yes, so that's a big deal. And you know what? And we make the same, or not we, you make the same flavors in
cat food.
In cat
It's
food.
exactly the same flavors. That's right. We have 4 main flavors,
Yeah.
and then we have 3 game flavors. And our game flavors are duck fish, which is a whole fish, and rabbit. These bones, we literally get the bones
I
from.
think this looks like my knee.
Yeah, it could be your knee, actually. Oh, yeah, I think maybe it is, actually. These bones, what we literally do is we take the bones as we get them, we cut them down to size, we freeze them, we vacuum seal them, and that's it. So your dog or cat will get a bone treat that is what they would find in the wild, if they would
so
have
you know what?
hunted.
I've never seen that. A cat will chomp on this.
Not
Not all
possibly this size.
No, well, right, unless you have
but you can try. Right, well, that's true. But you can try to see if the cat will.
Duck's feet or something?
Duck's feet, anything like that. We do sell lots of parts, which we love.
Yeah.
And as treats, I've noticed that some cats like the little chicken necks.
Yep.
They'll eat those. We do market them for dogs only, but there are cats that will eat them as well.
All right. Well, this was absolutely fabulous. I hope you learned a lot, folks. I learned a ton.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So we're gonna have to do this again.
We will.
And folks, we're back. The season starts. We will see you next week.
Thanks a lot.
Hey! Yaha! Hi, fellas. What's up?